All right, hey Alec, what's going on?
Just enjoying some E3 news. You
E3.
know, everything, all the E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo
I've
in
heard,
old Los
well, I've heard
Angeles.
people are calling it the best E3 in the past decade.
Well, I think they'd be wrong, but there were a lot of really great stuff.
There was good stuff. There was some great
There's a lot
stuff.
of really good stuff. Honestly, there was really a lot of good stuff. A couple conferences really kicked it out of the park, I think.
All right.
But I would not call this the best E3 in a decade.
What, what are your thoughts on Microsoft's E3 overall?
Okay, so
Sure.
overall, okay, so I did watch Microsoft's. Overall, their presentation was probably the best. Their stage was gorgeous. Um, they did their normal Microsoft thing where they come out and they walk around the stage and they kind of tout stuff. But they were going kind of game after game. They were definitely taking advantage of Sony not being there because they announced quite a number of things or showed off a few things that will be coming to PlayStation platforms. But hey, they get the stage. They get to announce this stuff. In some cases, I think some of it is exclusive or like timed exclusive. I think some of that was a little muddled. They didn't necessarily say one way or the other. I think that's the case for some of the games anyway. But overall, it was fine. It was not. I wasn't blown away really by anything. There was a couple very surprising announcements, but overall, it was just kind of an okay press conference. Kind of a lot of stuff we already kind of knew going in. Um, Pretty average announcements overall. Kind of stuff we already knew about. Um, so obviously there's Gears, which was probably the worst trailer for a new game I think I've ever seen. Um,
It was iconic.
uh, it was
Iconic.
terrible. I was shocked how bad it was. Because it was just like the woman's face and then like all these random people coming out of it, and I was like, is this supposed to be telling me that this is character focused? But because you're not showing me any gameplay, you're not telling me anything the game is about, and you have like this nice like this quiet, calm, like intense. It's quiet and calm, but it's also intense piece of music in the background. Well, she's like, all these people, all the like Marcus Phoenix is there, and all these other players from the Gears series, and I was
Others,
just like,
yeah.
I don't care. I just don't care. You didn't show me. I To me, it's probably like, well, the fan base already knows. They already know what Gears looks like. We don't need to show them what Gears looks like again. So they just didn't show anything,
Hmm.
which I think it was a mistake because I found it really boring. They then like raised up the stage, and like underneath the stage was like this arena. So I thought they were gonna show off this new gameplay mode, this new Gears gameplay mode for Gears of War 5 with these like professional wrestlers that I'd never heard of before. I mean, I don't really keep up on wrestling, so. And then nothing happened.
No, it was
And they just
transitioning to
beat
something else.
it, but they made it seem like they were going to start playing it, except they weren't. They didn't. They just immediately went to another announcement. It was very bizarre. So there were like weird little quirks like that in there. There were tons of them like that, but that was just very awkward. But that being said, a couple of really great things. Keanu Reeves showing up in Cyberpunk 2077.
Sure.
That was really awesome. You could tell that he has no idea what video games are, um, but it was great. Apparently, the guy that he said like uh, he's like the game's breathtaking. And there was a guy in the audience that said, "You're breathtaking,"
Yeah.
and then he pointed. He's like, "No, you're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking." Apparently, CyberConnect 22, CD Project Red,
Yes.
CyberConnect 2, CyberConnect 2 is completely unrelated. They got taken. I don't even know where that came from. CD Projekt Red contacted that guy. Apparently, they're going to give him a free copy of that game when it comes out. So
Why?
yeah,
Why?
yeah. I don't know. It's an
N-
iconic E3
Now
moment.
everybody's gonna be yelling out.
That's going to be in the huh?
Now everybody's gonna be yelling, trying to get free games.
Well, I mean, they were trying to do the Bethesda one, but we'll get to that at another time. Um, so that was cool. Keanu. I mean, no one. I don't think anyone knew anything about that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they
Um,
kept that under wraps. That's
yeah,
good.
pretty well. It was an E3 surprise. Yeah, because They then showed off other games that I cared about, which apparently had been leaked. The new Miyazaki and George R. R. Martin Mind project, the Elder Ring or Elden Ring something.
Yeah, which, all things considered, I didn't think was the most interesting reveal.
I mean, it was. Well, yeah, it was just a CG trailer, but like barely any of the game has been made yet, as far as I'm aware. So, it was kind of. I mean, it was just sort of like, here's this game we're making.
Yeah, if George R. R. Martin's name wasn't on there, I would have been like, oh, this is some generic game. I don't know.
Well, no, with Miyazaki's name, I think that also gives it some prestige too, because that guy's name is very well known now.
Well, if anyone's name I didn't know was, if it didn't have any recognizable names on it, I would have been like, oh, that was unremarkable. Okay.
Well, yeah, but that's the whole point. Like, that's like saying that that if those Death Stranding trailers, you just be like, what in the world's going on? Which is the whole point. But because it has Kojima's name on it, you're like, oh, okay. Well, we know it's going to be something. It's very weird. But we've come to expect that from him. So, anyway, that's Death Stranding was all.
So, overall thoughts? You thought it was fine?
It was fine. I thought it was fine. The Tales game looks great. The surprise announcement, Phantasy Star Online 2, is coming exclusively to Xbox, which is a shock. Like, I had no idea that was out of left field. That was crazy. Because that game was supposed to come out like 6 years ago or something, and it just never did. So that's pretty crazy. They must have paid him a lot of money for that. Even, I mean, like, I don't really have a huge interest in it, but I think it's just a noteworthy kind of thing. Like, I was really surprised by that. But everything else was just kind of. They talked about Project Scarlet at the end. It's probably going to be more. I'm probably going to more likely to buy that than I am an Xbox One X, because basically everything they talked about made me be like, yeah, I'm fine having my PC, because pretty much all these games that you're announcing, I can just play on my PC. Especially when they touted Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass was like the buzzword of their conference.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I can just buy those games and have them on PC through Xbox Game Pass is basically what they were saying. So yeah, I don't know. So, your thoughts on it. I rambled on for far too long.
So, overall, traditionally, Microsoft's one of my least favorite conferences in terms of there's not a lot of things I'm looking forward to from Microsoft. And then what they often show is like, okay, I'll either be indifferent or won't care about it at all. It'll be like a series like Gears of War or Halo, which I have never played, or it'll be some other game that's just not really that engaging. Like, I find myself when I was watching this, I was like, there's not that special something that, like, when I'm watching certain other companies' conferences that I'm like really looking forward to, and they have these really nice surprises.
Gears, Halo, Forza. That's it.
Yeah.
That's like their big three. And Tim Schafer even came out and made fun of that. He was like, "Yeah, you put me on that. You put me on Gears. You put me on Forza. I'll do it for you." Like as a joke kind of thing. But
yeah, I mean, I just have a problem with Microsoft's presentation style in general, where it's like the super businessy. Phil Spencer comes out and he like talks the company up for like 10 minutes.
He really does. I kind of like him though. It's weird.
I know,
because I'm annoyed a little bit by it too, but I kind of like him a lot. I've always kind of liked him.
I do too, but it's like he's like the bro of the.
Yeah.
But definitely. Then he's like, it's just every time they come out. I feel like the last 4 Xbox conferences at least they've come out and they're like, we're about to cover 30,000 games this conference.
Yeah, they do that. They've done that like for 4 years in a row or something.
It's like cool. Like, no doubt Xbox always has the most quantity. It's just not maybe the most memorable things.
Because they're all also multi-platform.
Yeah, and they bunch them all together, and it's just like there's so much there that none of it's really memorable. They're just trying to get everybody they can get in there.
Yeah.
I don't know, and just like Xbox in general, their whole process is like, instead of making better games, they're like, let's buy these companies, bring them into Xbox Game Studios.
will then make games for us.
So it's like that kind of company. I'm not really that interested in general, but I mean, I always want to be impressed, and there were some cool games in here and there, but
Battletoads looks fun.
yeah, I just think overall, if it's like, it didn't need to be an hour and 40 minutes of like,
Yeah.
because it really waters down the best parts of it and makes it like less memorable than if you just had like the best highlights into an hour. Then I think it would be much better.
It still, I agree. This still felt like the best paced that they've been so far, I think. Because they did linger a little bit on a few games, but overall, it felt a lot less bogged down by that than it has in years past. I mean, my memory just might be faulty, but I seem to be being a little bit more engaged, despite not really being the most interested in everything they were showing.
Mm-hmm.
I probably more than I have in them in a while. So that's why it kind of like, again, they're showing so many CG trailers. They're not really showing very much gameplay at all. But because they kept moving and they kept going on, something about it just was a little bit more engaging to me. Maybe it was just I liked the stage. That stage was really pretty. It's like honestly, it was a gorgeous stage. So, but
yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at this list, and there's none that really stick out to me. I mean, like, the ones that stick out to me even a little bit are ones that I'd be like, I'm kind of interested in them, but ultimately I'll probably not even end up getting most of them. Like, the Outer Worlds looks interesting.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't know if
I
don't know if I'll get it though. It's like a lot of these games are like they look interesting, but
I'm with you there, honestly. Yeah,
of course.
I'm interested in that, but also it's like I'd have to be convinced by somebody probably to pick it up.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Of course. Spiritfarer, where Spiritfarer is the one where you have the humanoid deer who's standing up, and the character goes over and hugs the deer. It's like a 2D Terraria looking game.
Yeah, it look cute, I guess.
Like, I just love the random things they throw in there where it'll go from like
random indie games like that.
It went from Cyberpunk 2077 to that, and it was it was like
what a tone shift, huh?
It was like world premiere, and then it was like it goes over and hugs this deer. I'm like, what's going on? It was
like a tone shift, huh? Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077 is just like gritty and grimy and gross, and it looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks that game. I mean, that was from what I could tell mostly a CG trailer, probably. But wow. I mean, I'm in on that one.
Yeah.
I'm in that. I'm in for that one definitely. But I mean, that's not Microsoft. That's CD Projekt Red, and that game's coming out on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and it's just like Xbox Game Pass. It's like it might be cool, might be a good deal, but I really just don't care. And I
know I'm kind of the same way.
It's like I feel like Microsoft has the lamest things to get hyped about. It's like every year they have these generic like business model like new things they come out with, and that's like their big catch. Xbox Game Pass
and xCloud, which they hardly talked about, but
yeah.
I think it's basically like what you can do with the PlayStation already. I think it's like if you basically you can treat your console as a server. So basically that means that you could use a computer or essentially hooking your computer up to that as a server to remotely play or your phone to remotely play that game like when you're out of town somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, okay, well, Sony's had that for over a year now, so
I think honestly the things that interest me the most from Microsoft are usually the indie, more creative things rather than like just looking at Microsoft things overall. It's usually just like dudes with guns and like darker style games.
Gears of War,
and it all kind of blends together for me. Like then I'll look at this paper and they've got like these names of things that are like generic. I don't know what they are. And then, yeah, because like I like stuff like 12 minutes that over the top, top down thing. You know that one? It was like it was an interactive thriller, and there was like this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 12 minutes. That
like,
looked. I was kind of fascinated by that.
Yeah, I'm like that's interesting.
Yeah, that to me was interesting. I like that would be a game if that wasn't Xbox exclusive, which again I don't remember if it was or not, but that'd be a game I'd be interested in.
Mm-hmm.
It was very the top-down style makes is kind of naturally makes you uneasy. Like I don't know if that's always the intent, but like typically to me like that it's such a stark style. It's like it's very intentional, and like a lot of times it really makes it lends itself well, I think, to games that make you a little bit uneasy or a
Mm-hmm.
little bit intense. I think of games like Hotline Miami, which is brutally violent and very fun, by the way. Um, but yeah, that game does make you uncomfortable while you're playing it. So
Yeah, I mean, I like the point and click deer game too. I'm down for
yeah,
that.
that game was cute. Yeah, that
Like
was like
the,
see, I don't remember if I don't remember if I watched that conference. I don't remember if I was watching that because I watched some of these in when I was in Pete Door's chat channel, his Twitch stream. I
Mhm.
was watching a lot of these, and I don't remember if I was in there for that one, but I think I was because I remember him saying, "Oh man, better get the tissues ready for this one." Because yeah, that one's gonna be one that's like, oh, it's the deer.
It's a
So
beautiful
either you
journey.
yeah, it's a beautiful journey that, the deer, one of those deers is probably going to die. I don't know if it's going to be the mama deer or the baby
Yeah.
deer, but yeah.
Maybe they'll just
Yeah.
both be shot by like hunters in the end. And then
They'll
it'll
just
be a
show
beautiful.
That's sad.
Yeah, and it's like yeah, I think probably because I'm trying to think what the game I'm most interested in from the show. There was a Tales
From
game.
Mike?
There was a Tales game too.
Yeah, Tales of Arise.
That
Yeah.
that seemed really different to me, like
It was.
stylistically.
It looked a lot more like the Xenoblade 2. Like, it looked a lot more like that style.
Yeah, yeah.
And I like that art style a lot. Like, I liked that direction. I think that looks really great.
hmm
Very excited about that. I love that series in general, so.
I think
But-
it's a toss up for me for favorite games, either Minecraft Dungeons or Minecraft or or Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's one of those two probably.
Wait, wait, really?
No.
Well, hey, here's the thing. Minecraft Dungeons looks very cool.
Yeah, it actually looks good. Yeah.
It looks like Diablo, exactly like Diablo, to the point where it has that overlay map that comes up where it shows you what the randomly generated map you're making or
Mhm.
that you're exploring is. I thought that was pretty cool.
Blair
thought
Witch.
That
Blair
was
Witch.
just out
It's
of,
out of nowhere.
that was just out of literally nowhere. Everyone in the chat, yeah, everyone in the chat was guessing. Oh, it's it's a new Silent Hill or it's a new
Alan
like,
Wake.
Alan Wake, yeah, Alan Wake or something, and it was just like Blair Witch, and it was like, what?
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So-
that's.
So
It
do
looks
you have one game? Do you have one game that's most interesting to you?
one game that's most interesting out of the conference.
'Cause I'm looking. I'm struggling.
I mean, I would probably say Cyberpunk 2077. Like that's the thing I'm looking forward to the most, probably that they showed.
Okay.
Tales of Arise would be up there too. That was leaked apparently ahead of time.
Oh,
Um, Elden Ring, but like there's very little we know about that game still, other than it's an open world ish game, and it's from FromSoft and George R. R. Martin wrote the
Mhm.
story, I guess. There's still very little information about it. I mean that's pretty much it. Like their big things. They had Forza Horizon 3 or 4 or whatever. They had like a Lego thing with that.
yeah.
That looked cute and fun and goofy, but like I just don't care really.
Yeah, that's
At the same time, like
That's
it looks
the general
fun, but it's
theme.
like I don't care.
that's
The
the
Halo trailer
That's the
looked
motto
amazing.
of Microsoft. Yeah.
The Halo trailer looked amazing, but that game's over a year out. It's actually a year and a half out because they're launching it with a new console.
Which is
And-
four times stronger than Xbox One.
Yeah, so
4
basically
times.
it's going to be more or less the same specs that they're already pretty much I was watching Spawn Wave, and he basically said that he's like, yeah, this in other words, it's basically what we've been hearing, the same exact specs that the PlayStation 5 is going to be, more or less. So they're going to be very competitive consoles together.
Yeah.
So
I haven't even got an Xbox One yet, so
I don't see honestly. I think the most damning thing you can say about this whole conference is that there wasn't. They didn't give me a reason to buy an Xbox One.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I still don't really have a reason to buy an Xbox One unless maybe Game Pass could convince me. But at the same time, to make it worth my while, I'd want a One X. They're still pretty expensive, and by the time they start dropping it in price, why don't I just wait till the next console to come out? Which is probably going to be incredibly expensive, by the way. Like that's probably going to it's probably going to be like I don't my guess is it's probably going to be close to Sony PS3 levels of expensive.
Oh, no.
That's my guess.
No.
I'm just throwing that out there.
I feel like that can't be the case. I mean,
I have a feeling that it's going to be close to that. If it's not 600, it'll be 500.
Is that sustainable though? There's no way I'm going out and getting
based on what they're saying about the specs and about the solid state drive is still a pretty expensive investment to have in every console. Mm-hmm. Like I think they're gonna have. I think that it has to be a relatively high price point, unless they're planning on not making kind of like what Sony did with the PlayStation when they dropped the price, and then what Nintendo did with a couple of their consoles. I don't remember which ones. I think they did it with the GameCube, and I think they did it with the Wii U. Yeah, where they actually had it underpriced, so they weren't necessarily they weren't really making money on the console. They were making money through the games. For Sony, that ended up working out incredibly well for PlayStation 3 when they dropped the price again and again, because then they started to be profitable, and the PS3 started taking off a little bit more. But I don't know. We'll see if they do that, but that's all up in the air.
But overall, it was like they teased that in the beginning. We're going to talk about the new console, and then we got nothing.
It's still telling us it's still a project name too.
Yeah.
They changed it from Project Scorpio to Project Scarlet.
They're going to bring out some dumbass name though, you know.
What's it? Yeah. What are they going to call it? That's my real question. They called this one the Xbox One, which was stupid.
Xbox Supreme.
The Xbox Super, the Super Xbox.
Yeah, let's go with that. It's gonna be some super high tech futuristic name to match this 4 times the power.
Xbox Red.
Yeah, Xbox. Yes, Scarlet. Just call it Scarlet Box.
Scarlet Box, the Scarlet Letter.
So yeah, my game of the show is Way of the Woods, the point and click deer game. That's my game of the show.
Honestly, that's my sleeper hit.
Sleeper.
That's my underrated game because I'm with Pete. I like my artsy fartsy games, and that looked pretty cute.
That's my game of the show.
It's my game of the whole show, the entire show.
And will I play it? Probably not.
Probably.
That's the Xbox in a nutshell for me.
Yeah, it's overall just it's all right, I guess.
So for a letter grade, I think I would give it a solid C.
Just a straight C?
C.
I'll give it a B minus. C plus.
Oh.
No, I'm like in between those two. Because there were games I'm interested in and games I want to buy that they showed off, but like so many of it was CG stuff. I'm kind of like I'm just sort of torn about it. I think I'll stick with C plus because overall it was still like there was so much stuff I just didn't care about really.
So that
not terrible.
Yeah.
Not terrible, honestly. Honestly, a pretty solid conference is better than what they've done in the past, I think. But
yeah, I mean they had good stuff in there. I just think you tighten it up. I value a lot in a conference that can has really good pacing and just keeps coming out with hits. And they did do that. They had a lot of things without stopping for a while, but at the same time, it's when they did stop, it wasn't super entertaining, and then they didn't have super heavy hitters in there either. It was
Gears 5. We'll stop on that. It was really weird trailers, and then show off these wrestlers that aren't actually going to play a game. We'll move right to another game. It was so bizarre.
Wasn't that something after the show, or what was that?
I guess it was. They did it after the show, but why did they show them at all? That just confused me so much. It was so weird.
They're just teasing it for you. Yeah. So I give it a C. You give it a C plus. That gives it an average Tarqaron score of C and half a plus. All right, that's
right
it.
In between there.
That's
all right,
a great start to E3 2019.
Okay, I guess.
And bye bye.